Welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla with Kayla's Cricut Creations. In this tutorial, I will be testing out GO2CRAFT's Auto Seamless Tumbler Heat Press Machine. GO2CRAFT sent this over to me to test out, so I'm really excited to share my experience with you all today. Here, I'm just getting it out of the box. Inside, it included a manual, some pre-made sublimation sheets, heat-resistant gloves, and tape. As I was getting it out of the box, I noticed it was kind of heavy, so I was curious how much it weighed. I went on Amazon and it said it weighs 21.1 pounds, so a little heavy. It does have a little handle on the back, and I'll show that to you in a second. Here's the manual that comes with the tumbler press. With any of my tumbler presses, I always keep the manuals because they're always incredibly helpful. Any other thing, I always just throw manuals away, but for my tumbler presses, it really is helpful with the time and temps and how to set your machine, so I recommend keeping it. It came with these little replacement fuses, I think is what they're called, and here is the heat-resistant gloves and tape. Here's a quick look at the machine. It comes in 3 different colors, green, purple, and turquoise. Mine is green. At first I wasn't sure about the color, but it really grew on me quickly. I do like the color of it. What's neat about this machine is that it's all automatic. If you have a tumbler press, you need to twist the knobs to adjust the pressure of the different size tumblers. You also have to manually close and open the tumbler, as well as rotate it 180 degrees for the second transfer. The reason for rotating and pressing it again is because there's a little open space in tumbler presses, so it doesn't fully heat through, so you have to switch it and do a whole nother press. The dimensions for the machine is 13 by 7 by 14 inches. Here's just a quick comparison of the Cricut mug press, so it kind of gives you an idea of the size. Also, here's that handle I was talking about on the back, which is really convenient and makes it a lot easier to pick this up. Now let's plug it in and take a look at it. Here is the cord that it comes with, and what you do is just plug it into the back of the machine. It's a 3-prong cord, which is great, and then you just plug the other side into the wall, and the power button is on the back. It's that little red button. It will automatically start heating up, but what's really cool about this machine is it also comes with preset modes, so you literally have to just click the button and you don't even have to set your time and temp. The first mode is stainless tumbler, so if you press that, it'll show it's going to set it to 365 degrees. The top right shows it'll be for 50 seconds. The second mode is a glass can, and it will be set to 350 for 180 seconds. We have custom, which is set to 320 degrees for 90 seconds. Then ceramic mug, which is 400 degrees for 200 seconds. You can also go in and change the built-in modes if you like, so here it shows how to do that. GO2CRAFT also sent over some tumblers to use with the tumbler press. This is a 4-pack, and it is 20-ounce sublimation tumblers. The 20-ounce tumblers seem to be about the standard size for sublimation tumblers. Also, these are made out of stainless steel. So the compatible materials with this tumbler press is stainless steel, ceramic, glass, and enamel. You can use 16 to 25 ounce glasses, 11 to 30 ounce stainless steel tumblers, and 11 to 16 ounce mugs, so it's a huge range. I'm going to grab my tumbler wrap design. I like to get mine from Creative Fabrica. They have thousands of 20-ounce tumbler templates, and this is always my go-to. I pay for their all-access membership, and I actually pay for their yearly membership, and as you can see, they have had this sale going on for a while now, but it is an amazing sale. For their yearly membership, it comes out to $3.99 a month, which is just insane because you get all these SVGs, sublimation images, fonts. What's really cool too is these images and fonts come with commercial license, so you can use these to sell your products. You also get Creative Fabrica Studio. I've done a couple videos on that. I'm going to type in summer 20-ounce tumbler. Sometimes how you word it can make a difference with what pulls up, so let's see what pulls up here. So here's a whole bunch of different options for specifically summer templates. There is just so many super cute ones. I love these watermelon ones. I think those are adorable, but I have already picked the one that I'm using and I have it pulled up over here. I'm going to print off this daisy one, and these 3D inflated ones are super cool. It makes the tumblers look 3D, so I'm excited to use one of these images. I've already downloaded it and it went directly to my downloads folder on my computer, so I'm going to go over to Canva to show you how I put this together. I'm going to select Create New Design, and I am just going to do a custom size. I want to do 11 by 8.5 inches. That's under my recents, so I'm just going to select that. I'll click on Uploads. I already have it uploaded, so I'm going to pull it over here. I've already measured my tumbler. For sizing, you can pull at the corners and you can see in that black rectangle the width and height. But what I like to do is go to position because you can get a little bit more exact with this. So under width, I'm going to type in 9.375. And it actually only lets you do 2 numbers past the decimal, so it's going to be 9.38, and that's okay. For my height, I want it to be 7.937, so I'm going to type in 7.94. It does crop the image a little bit, so you can double click on it and move it around. Okay, I think that's where I want it. I'm going to click out, and I think that looks good. Now I can go to Share. I'll click Download, and I'm going to download it as a PNG, so I'll click Download again. This pulled into my Downloads folder, so I just opened it up. Now I can click File, Print. I need to make sure I select my sublimation printer. I'm going to scale it back to 100%. Under default settings, I have a print job preset, which is sublimation, so I'll click on that and I'll show you what it should be set to. I'll go down to my print settings and I have it set to premium presentation paper matte, high quality, and to mirror my image, so that looks good. Also for my color matching, I have my Cosmos ink profile set up in here. That looks good. I can hit print. I'm using A-Sub sublimation paper, and for tumbler wraps where you have that crease, I like to do 105G because the paper is just a little bit thinner. I place it in my printer and it'll start printing out. I'm using an Epson EcoTank 2760. I turned off my fast speed printing for this printer, so it looks like it's printing really fast, but that's because I zoomed it up. It actually does print pretty slowly. This design is just super pretty. I love it. It just makes me happy. But now what I need to do is trim off those white edges. Since I wanted pretty much exact measurements, you have to be careful to not cut off part of the ink, and I accidentally did that. You can kind of see it here, and that can make a difference with wraps, so I cut the rest of this, but I ended up reprinting it. Now I'm ready to prepare the tumbler. I take the lid off and then I take a lint roller just to run it along it to make sure it's nice and clean so it's ready for the ink. I grab a second tumbler. They recommend preheating with a blank sublimation cup inside of the machine, and this just prolongs the life of the heating element. Now I'm ready to add the print to my sublimation tumbler. I like to turn the cup upside down and press the paper against the edge of it, so it just kind of helps me line it up a little bit better. Then I pull the paper as tight as I can. It just barely overlaps, but not much at all. And I place one piece of tape right in the center where I have it lined up. Then I add tape going all the way up. I just make sure it's pulled nice and tight and that everything is staying lined up. Then I flip it upside down and do the other side, and this side, for some reason, towards the end, it was a struggle to get it to pull together. So I think next time I would have done the center and then the two, like top and bottom, and then filled in the rest of the tape, if that makes sense. Which is kind of what I did here. I pulled the bottom together and added 2 pieces of tape, and then I went in and filled in the rest. After that, I take my scraper and just press down where it's overlapping, and it's just supposed to help with that overlapping line a little bit. Then I wrap butcher paper around my tumbler. This just helps prevent any ink going through onto the tumbler press. Now I'm ready to turn it back on, and I press the stainless tumbler setting. I place the cup without the sublimation paper inside, then I press the start button. The heating element will move forward and it will start to preheat. Reading the instructions, it says to press the stop button to stop the countdown when the set temperature is reached. While I was waiting for it to get to 365 degrees, the seconds were counting down and it did the turn and did another 50 seconds. I'm not sure if I'm doing this exactly right, but this is kind of how the instructions say to do it. So it sat there for just a little bit before it got to 365. Once it did, I pressed the stop button, and then the instructions say to hit the stop button a second time. I took the tumbler out and it's hot, so make sure to wear your heat resistant glove. And then I place my tumbler that is ready to go inside of the press. It will automatically start pulling that tumbler in, which is super cool. You don't have to do anything at all. It also automatically adjusts the pressure. It looks like in the instructions, the pressure is set to 60. This is set to 50 seconds. You can see it counting down. Once the countdown is done, the tumbler press will open back up and it will automatically move the tumbler 180 degrees, and then it will start to close and it will start counting down from 50 seconds again. Once it's done, it will automatically open back up. Then with your heat resistant glove, just grab it out, and I like to place my Cricut heat mat down and I just set it on that. Now I'm ready to remove the paper and see how it did. This is always the most exciting but also kind of nerve-wracking part, and trying to get all of that tape off is a pain. Sometimes I like to use my Cricut weeding tool to remove it, but my craft room is a mess and I cannot find it, so I'm sure it's laying under something. Now I can just take the paper off and look how pretty it is. Once again, I really like this design, and it did have a little specks of paper on it. To easily fix that, just take a wet washcloth or paper towel and run it over the tumbler. I'll put the lid and the straw on, and then I'll show a close-up of the tumbler. Also, these tumblers came with this little grip thing for the bottom, which is really nice because you don't have the stainless steel cup kind of scraping against everything. Here's how the tumbler turned out. I think it's super cute. The machine did an amazing job. I don't see any ghosting or anything like that. Here's what the seam looks like. I do think the seam looks great. The only problem with this design is once it's pulled together, it just doesn't look quite right. So when you're picking the design, you kind of want to look at the two edges and see how it's going to piece together. And I didn't really do that with this, but that's okay. I still really like it. Overall, I'm incredibly happy with the auto tumbler press. I can see me pulling this out and using it a lot more than my other tumbler press because it basically does all the work for you. It's super simple. You don't have to set the pressure, the time and temp, and you don't have to open it up and turn it around. So I'm very happy with it. I really want to try a mug and a glass tumbler as well. So I'm hoping to get a video posted with that soon. I'll link my materials that I used in my description box. Also, I would love it if you subscribed if you are new to my channel, and I hope you all have a great day.